What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Topsonics with the ban list update today, and so we're gonna go through the ban list. I haven't seen anything for it yet, but I have some pictures here I've added to my recording software, so I can pull them up as I go through. So for an honest reaction, and I can talk about it while we go around. So uh, this is going to be the first and only take, so it's going to be a little awkward. So getting right into what is forbidden, Fiendsmith Lacrima was forbidden. Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess is forbidden. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend King Calamities is forbidden, and Beatrice. So the really the new Fiendsmith card already has a forbidden. The fusion's already forbidden, which is crazy to me. Appaloosa getting banned is definitely something that would hit Snake Eye. Definitely something that would hit a lot of the decks that do really abusive stuff. Especially when it comes to like IP and Appaloosa, like it forces you to go into very specific things. Hot Red getting banned hits Centurion. It also hits a couple of like the really annoying decks, and then Beatrice getting hit basically hits everything that uses Fiendsmith as a generic engine, and also makes it so dimensional barrier isn't searchable into the new format, which is something I think is really powerful, and something that will actually help a lot of decks in the future. It also means that technically, Tyr got hit again on the forbidden list, which is great. So like Tyr Fiendsmith is a little weaker now. Moving on to the cards that are limited. I do like these bands, by the way. I think all these bands are pretty good. I don't think Calamities necessarily needed it, but it is something that's very interesting. Moving on to the limited cards. So first off, Ava is off the list. I do not like that immediately. Drytron is already a deck that's pretty annoying to deal with. Ava gave them near infinite negates for a lot of things, and with new cards, Drytron is just going to be able to abuse stuff again. This was one of the reasons why Ben 10 was also limited in the past. I don't think Ava being allowed back is something that's as good. We they've just banned Appaloosa and they banned a bunch of Omni Gates, and people talk about them banning Omni Gates, but now Herald of Perfection and Herald of Ultimateness both have Ava available now, which is something that's just ridiculous. Like it's just a plus. It's just three negates immediately from Drytron. It's just that's actually pretty bad. For the game, in my opinion, Snake Eye Ash and Snake Eye Poplar are both limited to one now, which is something that's absolutely crazy. They just disintegrated Snake Eyes. Um, Something absolutely crazy. Uh, Number 40 Gimmick Puppet of the Strings and Chaos number 40 Gimmick Puppet of the Dark Strings, both limited to hit the FTK. Understandable. Snake Eye getting gutted and Gimmick Puppets getting a nice hit is pretty good. Branded Fusion to 1. Maybe we'll stop seeing branded literally everywhere. Would be kind of nice. I can't speak enough to how boring I think branded is. Like while it's a skillful matchup, more and more recently it's just been getting very boring, and this definitely helps I think to ease things up. Opening the spirit gates, going to one is something that hits Ubel a little bit. This doesn't hit Ubel too bad. Ubel Fiendsmith is still technically a deck, I guess. It's just not as good as it used to be. Mostly because of the Lacrima hit and the Beatrice hit, but ultimately they'll still have they still have Necroquip Queen, I think, or Goddess, one of the two, and stuff like that. So it's very much like they'll still have access to the DDD monster that or like Wave King Caesar, I think it's called. Pot of Prosperity going to one is something that's pretty crazy. Sand King Summoning that's going to one is something that's pretty crazy. Um, it definitely makes sense. Sand King Summoning with Tenpai is pretty crazy. Tenpai being able to OTK through Prosperity is pretty wild. Unless you lock them in the synchros and then somehow lock them, or unless you lock them out of synchros, or you force them to use Genroku and then out the synchro, which is pretty difficult depending on the list. And then the grass is greener has went from forbidden to limited, which is pretty crazy. That just means tier limit's got a big buff. Technically, 60 card tier limit is definitely a problem. It also means that just like 60 card anything can be a problem. Like the grass is greener is just like it's just a dice roll card for 60 card decks to have now, and I don't know. I kind of don't like that it's available, but you know it's there. And then skill drain is limited to one. I also don't like that skill drain got limited here. I am a proprietor of trap decks, and floodgates I think aren't the problem if they're utilized correctly. Floodgates as back row to me aren't a problem. Floodgates that are monsters are usually the problem, which is why stuff like a Rise Heart and Nightmare Griffin can be problematic. But at the same time, things like skill drain, rivalry, and such can be less problematic because there's a lot of cards to usually out those inherently in the game, and it promotes better deck building than just I play 40 monsters, which is what a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh is coming to. Like usually, like you have somewhere in the ballpark, especially because of the how hand traps work. You have somewhere in the ballpark. Used to only have around, depending on the deck that you're playing, up to 19 monsters total, and like now it's like crazy. Like some decks have like almost entirely monsters, which is wild. That's not a super heavy samurai, but that being said, the stuff that's being limited is still very good. The only thing I don't like is Ava coming off the forbidden list, but at the same time, super understandable. Um, Moving on to stuff that is semi-limited, we have all the dragon rulers are put to two, which is crazy. Thunder Dragon Colossus is at two. Ib the World Chalice Justicar is at two, and Luna Light Tiger is at two. I think this is just stuff that's all moved from limited down to two. Um, Nothing has gone from three to two here, from what I can tell. So very much this is just them unleashing a lot of cards back into the game, which is not something inherently awful, except for the Colossus. I still don't think Colossus is healthy for the game, but likewise, the part of the problem too is that Thunder Dragon Colossus is a floodgate on legs. Floodgates on legs are usually inherently really bad for the game. We'll see how it goes, but for the most part, I think Colossus is still a mistake in my opinion. It's just a matter of time before something gets to abuse it, and that is the potential problem, right? At the end of the day. And then the cards that have gone to three or are currently unlimited now. Time Seal, which is in the picture, went to three. So yeah, I guess you can skip up to three draw phases. So I guess Labyrinth just got a new cool tech. Armageddon Knight went to three. I think it was at one before. I think that's pretty cool. Being able to play Armageddon Knight. Too bad it's not a level three, or else Phantom Knights could play it. Red Rose Dragon going to three didn't really matter in the long run. But with the grass is greener, you might have the old faithful 60 card decks coming back. Magic Spectre Unicorn going to three and Plush Fire going to three, understandable. Corinne, went to one, then it's going to three now because Magic Specters have done really nothing. And then likewise, Plush Fire just got its errata, which makes it very different now and being able to be more playable. Agent Fairy Dragon, I think was okay at one. It doesn't really matter if you play more than one, I guess. I think anymore. I don't remember off the top of my head if it's a soft one's per turn, but at the same time, I don't think anyone's synchroing for seven that many times. And then Denglong, the first of the Yang Zing going to three. Probably should have just happened in the last ban list, honestly. um, so honestly, I think this ban list is definitely a winner. We needed a ban list that was pretty nuclear, and in this occasion, we definitely hit it. I definitely think that there are some other things that could have happened to this ban list. I think Summon Sorceress with her new errata would be a very good addition to this. Being able to put her as a QCR in the new tins for September would have been really easy to do, and just have her put back out there. Because I don't even recall where Plush Fire is going to get reprinted in. To be fair, so it just makes a lot of sense that like Summon Sorceress would have come back, especially with the way the errata was. But understandable that she's not here just yet. It'll probably happen whenever they decide to reprint her in something. Ultimately, though, I think this ban list is super good. I think it's really good. The forbidden stuff is probably the highlight. Likewise, the limited stuff really makes the landscape finally change. We're tired of seeing Snake Eye. We're tired of seeing branded everywhere. We're tired, like it's everything being a Snake Eye variant was pretty bad. This also leaves anything that can play Sinful Swells pretty much up for grabs. So I definitely like that Rescue Ace is still a playable deck technically. Everything that was good from Rescue Ace Sinful Spoils can now still utilize the one-offs from Snake Eye and still be very powerful. Likewise with the Abel Star and different things like that. We still like so there's still fire decks that'll be pretty good. And technically it's just the field spell that's hit from Tempai. So anything that can get you to more field spells, such as Ancient Fairy Dragon, terraforming, set rotation, anything like that, it's just more abusable than it's just abusable at that point for them now. So they just gotta like at that point, if they really want to get to the field spell, there's that. But with stuff like Genroku and Sengen Summoning and Pydra, it's not going to be entirely hard to get to. It just means that they're a little more susceptible to hand traps, which is something that they've always had a problem with. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think this is really good. As somebody who plays like Sprite and Runic stuff for the most part, I definitely think that this is going to be a pretty interesting format. I think stuff like Grass is Greener is going to be a little bit annoying if people just top deck it, so you have to ash it. But also, with the stuff from Speed Duels, everybody was kind of expecting Max C to come off the Forbidden list. I think one of the biggest other problems in this Forbidden list or with this is that we're going to have two Maxi esque monsters that are going to be a little bit of a problem for the landscape. But overall, I think this ban list will definitely help with a lot of decks. So yeah, those were my opinions. I think this Forbidden list is pretty good. I'll have the link to the Forbidden list down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Feel free to check out the sponsors. Gemtech will also be in the description below. Save 10% off anything that you purchase from there using my code TeddyFurry10, and helps support the channel, helps get things cheaper for you. And yeah, have a great day. God bless and peace.